What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got with
Melo.
and Rado. This is a sports podcast where we talk your favorite sports debates, sports highlights, and sports matchups. Thank you guys for being here. And I don't know if you guys have been watching the NBA, but I know we have NBA play-in just started up, and we had the 7 and 8 matchups, and also the
hmm
9 and 10 matchups go on. And now we're on to the second round of the play-in, right, Melo?
Yes, yes. Now, pretty much the loser of the 7 and 8 matchup versus the winner of the 9 and 10 matchup will now play for the coveted 8 seed to go against the number 1 seeds. Um,
Exactly. Exactly. And I got for those of you that are watching, I have it up for you guys on the screen right now so you can see the full bracket of how the playing tournament happened. And right now we obviously just have two more games to figure out who the other two guys in the playoffs are going to be, the two eighth seeds. That's what we're waiting for, right?
oh yes, so yes. So basically, we predicted the first two playing games, which we had the Hawks versus the Heat. The Hawks won. So the Heat is now in this playing game versus winner of the 9 and 10, which was the Bulls versus Toronto. And now Toronto lost, so now it's the Bulls versus Heat, and that's who we got in the East going into the winner of the getting the 8th spot, and then obviously in the West we won over the seventh spot with the Lakers versus Minnesota. The
Hold on.
Lakers won, getting seventh, and the loser of that, obviously Minnesota, is now playing the winner of the Pelicans versus the Thunder, which was the Thunder. So now the Timberwolves and the Thunder will play in the West for the 8th spot, and those are definitely going to be some two good games.
That's for sure. That's for sure. Both of them are, and both tough fought teams. Let's go ahead and talk about the East real quick. I mean, we're gonna have a real hot matchup: the Chicago Bulls versus the Miami Heat. I mean, we saw how the Chicago Bulls got there just in their first play-in game. You had DeMar DeRozan's daughter come out and help out the whole team, screaming to make sure that like nobody on the Raptors would make a free throw, and it was definitely a homecoming for DeMar DeRozan. So they won on the road. Now they're gonna have to play a Miami team that played bad
Oh
against.
yeah.
Yeah, they really played bad against Atlanta, and they were the favorite in that Atlanta game. So who you got for that one? The East, Miami Heat
Uh,
versus Chicago Bulls.
So I'll be honest, with both of these games in the East and West, uh, I think they're going to be really close game, and they were honestly both tough to choose, especially seeing their performances from the last game coming in. Um, both these teams kind of had like opposite seasons. Bulls were an actual 6 seed last year, while the Heat were doing a lot better as well. But while no one really expected the Bulls to kind of do that much better, they lost a big piece of Lonzo. They were dealing with a lot of injuries. Everyone expected that the Heat would not be fighting for a playoff spot coming to the end of this season. So definitely two teams, especially with the talent that Heat has, like they didn't lose anybody, and they technically added Kevin Love for a little bit more of a push towards the end of the
Yeah,
year. So
they needed
this
that.
is and they did. So that's why a lot of people are wondering how they're in this position right now. Especially like you said, looking horrible against the Hawks, and now ending up having to play for the second game to really determine if they can get in. But I definitely think that this is going to be a good mid-range defensive game. Definitely not the greatest three-point teams. Technically, Miami has some shooters, but let's be honest, they're not really hitting like they should be. So it's gonna
Yep.
be a lot of attacking the rim. Pretty much trying to get to their spots in between the paint, and just trying to maybe shoot top of the key and just try to get those points. Um, but pretty much when it comes to the Heat, they have a lot of good defense when it comes to all around perimeter in the paint, and a lot of the things that the Bulls were able to be successful in with Toronto. I don't think that they're gonna have that type of success with the Heat. But I do think that both of these teams are gonna cause each other problems. Um,
I agree. I totally think that they're going to be causing each other problems, especially on defense, like you said.
mhm.
It's definitely going to be a lot of defensive matchups, and both of these teams are really mid-range teams, just like you said as well. Like especially honestly, the Bulls. The Bulls are known for being a mid-range team. I mean, DeMar DeRozan, obviously one of the best mid-range shooters that we got in the game, but then again, like Zach LaVine, he's known for dunking the ball as well and going mid-range and shooting it. So I do think that the Bulls are gonna have to figure out ways, do some pick and rolls, and have to figure out ways to get around that defense that Miami has. Because I mean, they got guys like Gabe Vincent that's a really good defender, and even though Tyler Hero is not known for being a good defender, the last like 10, 15 games of the season, he's been stepping it up for sure.
No, and honestly, that's really where they're gonna have to make the difference is that defense. Pretty much the Heat were the worst 2-point defense in the league this year. Uh, Good trying to guard the perimeter, but like I said, getting past that first guy before you reach Bam, before you reach one of the big men, kind of finding a way to get open or even drive into the rim a little bit was the Heat's weakness. So I do think a team like the Bulls, they don't hit threes. They're 2-point kings. Like that's exactly what they do. So I think this is going to be a good defensive matchup where we're going to have to see which team offensively is going to be able to break through and which star basically is going to be able to push forward.
Yep. That's true. I mean, it's most likely going to be a game of the stars. I mean, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan versus Jimmy Butler, and probably Tyler Hero. Tyler Hero's going to have to go off again. He actually played really well in that Atlanta playing game, and I think he's going to play it well again. I think that Jimmy Butler needs to step it up if he wants to show up again and show that he's playoff Jimmy again. He needs to start off as play-in Jimmy right now because
Mm-hmm.
play-in Jimmy didn't look so good so far. So we need to see him step it up. And honestly, I do think that at least Jimmy and Tyler Hero are going to be able to shoot. They do shoot well against the Bulls. I mean, the last few games they've beaten the Bulls. They played them twice and they beaten them. Um, but then again, you got on the Vegas side of it, you got the Heat as still as favorites, but the Bulls have really been playing really well in the last 5 to 6 games of the season. So, do you really go with a team that's been on and off, but has a really good matchup with this team, or a team that's been pretty consistent the last few games of the season and is honestly on an uptrend right now in the Bulls? What do you think, man?
So honestly, and this is one thing it really bothered me throughout the season. The Bulls played well against good Eastern Conference teams.
Yes,
Um,
exactly. Yeah,
they
but
did they beat Boston multiple times, and they had the Heat's number as well. So obviously the Heat are the favorite. Um, but the Bulls have shown that they can play against the Heat. And they have shown this season they can play against the Heat. And truthfully, and I feel like you have to look a lot, and some people might not think this way, but I think you have to look a lot of honestly the playing game. Yes, it's only one game, but it kind of really showed like that's kind of every team's first chance to really get that playoff taste. And I don't know. Do you think Jimmy has two bad games? Because 6 for 19, that wasn't
yeah,
really
that
a
was
good
bad.
game.
That was bad.
Yeah.
That was terrible. It was terrible. I mean, he just barely got over 20 points. He got 21 points, but still, like, you can't play a game like that. I
And that's the thing,
mean,
it was bad finishes. I like watching the game, it was stuff he could have made, but it just didn't seem to go in.
notice how Tyler Hero took over in the fourth quarter, and he was trying to just make stuff happen, and he was making stuff happen, but it was just too little, too late. He was going inside and getting a lot of like floaters and mid-range shots, and he even got 1 3 in the fourth quarter. So honestly, I don't expect Jimmy to have two bad games in a row. No, I think that he's actually going to step it up this game. But the question is DeMar DeRozan's daughter going to show up again, or she's got to go to school? Because this time they are playing in Miami, so I don't know if she's going to be able to go in Miami and start yelling. So the Heat miss free throws again, or like
Nah,
the
nah,
Raptors did.
he definitely sending her back home. Definitely don't want her to miss no more school. Um, but yeah, like it's definitely gonna be about those guys on the court, Butler versus Caruso or Beverly. Obviously, Hero's gonna have to be on one of them as well. Butler's gonna obviously be on Levine or pretty much like who else we have on the other perimeter. Let's see. We
I
got
mean,
Levine.
you still got Gabe
He's
Vincent
gonna be under Rosen. Yeah,
against.
he's gonna be under Rosen. Yeah, because I'm thinking
Oh,
I
because
don't know which one because it's one or the other. Bam is gonna have his hands full. When Nicola. So I'm trying to think of what those offensive matchups are about to look like.
Jovic's been stepping it up too. I'm not gonna
And
lie. He's
he had
been
a great
stepping
game.
it
That's
up.
why I think he's gonna play a key factor. Honestly, him versus Bam is gonna be a key factor into this game. Um,
Yeah, it's gonna be a good
yeah,
matchup to watch.
they're gonna have to throw Butler on DeRozan, and I guess Lowry on Levine. That's probably what they'll do. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
I'll be
So
honest.
that's
I
gonna
think
be
this
three great matchups. That's gonna be some good basketball.
that's true, and it is gonna be very defensive minded. I'm gonna people are gonna think they're gonna see a lot of missed shots, but it's gonna be a lot of defense in people's faces, and that's what's gonna be causing missed shots. And I do think that both of these teams might even just score under 100 points. I mean, we might see a playing game with both of them under 100 points. Might just be under 100, but I do think it's going to be a defensive battle. Um, for me, I do think that the matchup that we have to look is really Tyler Hero and Jimmy if they're going to be able to step it up. Because we know that Jimmy did, or sorry, we know what Tyler Hero did, but we need to see playing Jimmy now to stepping it up. For the other side, honestly, DeRozan played very well. Zach LaVine, he's been stepping it up very well. But we need to see the other guys. We need to see like everyone else on the Bulls step it up. Like Patrick Williams, he's got to step it up. Obviously Caruso, I mean, he's known as a great defender, so he's definitely gonna have to step it up in this game. One thing I will say, like I watched the Bulls play against the Houston Rockets this year, and they lost to them. So they lose against like bad teams, like and they beat good teams. There's something about the Bulls that they have something in them. I think this game is gonna be a lot closer than what Vegas is saying, 5.5 points. I think it's gonna be way closer than that. I actually have it a 2-score game. But before I say who it is, I want to know who you got.
Honestly, so this is the one I still haven't decided yet. Um, I don't expect Butler to have two bad games, but I really do think the Bulls have Miami's number. Um, it really is like a one game series is so crazy. So I feel like it's
Tough.
college. It's so crazy to choose from.
It's tough.
Um,
So let me try to talk you into it then.
Go ahead. Who you
Gonna talk
got?
you into it then. Then I'm gonna just tell you. I like I said, I got it a 1 possession game. I think it's gonna be a 2 point game. Gonna come down to the end. And I do think that Jimmy Butler's gonna have the ball in his hands and get like a nice little layup. 98, 97. I got it. Yeah, actually. I was gonna say 2 point game, but 98, 97, because I do think it's gonna be just one bucket that wins it. Bulls lose. Heat win.
Yeah, see, then you honestly convinced me to go with my initial pick, which was initially 3-0. They have their number. I have Bulls 108 to 102. But it's just the Jimmy having two bad games. That scares me right there because it's Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy. Uh, let's see. Vucevic should be
108.
able to put some work on Bam. Hero should be able to be locked up by Beverly or Caruso. It's gonna have to force Max to step up and Lowry, and at the end of the day, Lowry could score 25 again and still lose like they just did. So yeah, I'll take the Bulls. So I got Bulls 108 to 102, and you had Heat what?
I got Heat 98 to 97. I got it a 1 point game, but 1 possession game pretty much. So
I got a 6 point game.
yeah, I mean that's what Vegas got it as pretty much. So if they go with you, you can win some money. But I don't know. I just think you're not gonna see two bad games from Jimmy. That's just what I think.
And that's honestly, that's the only thing going in Miami's favor, and it's so crazy because there's like 3 or 4 other things going on the Bulls' favor, but that one thing kind of overweighs the other ones just because Jimmy's about to go off.
100%.
And that's what, and it's good because for me, like
Yeah.
you're 3-0 against them. They played great against amazing teams this year. The Heat just had a horrible game. They just had a great game. Vucevic's going off. I think he's gonna have a good game against Bam. You know what I'm saying? All that, and it's like, damn, all that could just stop by a 30-point game by Jimmy, because he's gonna give you 9 and 9 with that 30-point game.
Right. He's definitely gonna try to get some more assists. Definitely. I mean, you
The ball's gonna
see
be in his hand totally, like all the time. Yeah.
exactly. But going from a team and honestly a game with a bunch of stars, let's go to the West playing and go to like two young teams. I mean, you got the Oklahoma City Thunder, very young squad. Nobody expected them to be here against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Obviously, they lost to the Lakers, and Rudy Gobert wasn't there. Now he's back. Who you got in this one? Um, Obviously, you got a young team in honestly in both sides, but the younger team is OKC without Chet Holmgren, who I thought was going to be Rookie of the Year this year, but he didn't even play a minute. So hopefully
Fucking
he plays next
LeBron.
year.
That's his dumbass fault. Knowing he was 98 pounds trying to go play some damn pro league, what was it?
Drew
Drew
League, pretty much,
League
yeah.
pro am basically. Fucking in the summer, knowing damn well he can't stick with, like, come on, it's LeBron James.
I don't
It's
know why he was
goddamn
trying to stick
LeBron
LeBron
James.
as
Yeah.
rookie. But who you got for this one though? I mean, young squad versus a team that's got Rudy Gobert back.
So this is another one, like I said, a lot of these last two games really have to play a part, man. Thunder looking good right now, man. SGA is playing some great basketball. Giddy, I'll be honest, I don't know how he does it, but he does it. My man has, I love it because I be seeing these the reels basically. You see him on through all the social media, but they be like, the man has no bag. He just goes by you every
He's
time. Like,
yeah.
he's the simplest person ever, and it's true. The only thing that's flashy is his passing. And you know what I'm saying? And but he does it all. And honestly, Dort is playing some great basketball right now.
Yep.
He's finding a way to score, and we already know what he brings to the defense. On the
Yo,
other
I
end,
gotta say though, my man Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he's got to be up there for MVP, even if it's fourth or fifth. He's got to be up there for the voting. I think the way he's
I
played all
mean,
year.
I mean, 31, 31.4, 4.8, and 5.5. The 5.5 is the assist. Um,
I
because
mean, they
obviously
got his team
you
in there
got the top
playing.
three, which are the big men. Maybe six, because obviously I'm gonna have to put Luca and
Okay,
Tatum
yeah. That's
over
why I was
him.
thinking like fourth, maybe. I'm sorry, not fourth, yeah, maybe fifth. Fifth.
Nah, it has to be six because you got to
Ah,
put
yeah, I know who you're
Tatum over
gonna take.
him.
I know Jason Tatum. Yeah, that's
Definitely,
true.
because yeah,
I know. Yeah, you're right.
definitely
You're
had a
right.
better year.
So yeah, sixth.
So, well,
Sixth.
hey, I
Still.
don't have the numbers in front of me, but I'll look and compare those numbers with Luca for that fifth spot. Because I'm thinking short list, he got to be up there. You're right though, definitely top five, top six.
Yeah, he
But yeah,
should
hell of a
definitely be up
season.
there. Yeah, definitely a
I
hell of a
mean, and
season.
at
Yeah,
this
hell of a
point,
season.
who won MIP last year? Because it's got to be his.
Most improved was it John Morant or something? It was like
I
a
think
weird.
so. It was.
That
I
was a
think it
weird.
was Ja, even though he was like already supposed to be a superstar or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I think he like literally won like most improved player. I think it was John Morant last year because it was a weird year because I think also Desmond Bain was in the running and so was like Jordan Poole, but Jordan Poole didn't win it. That's what I remember. That's what happened. So
It was
that
John
just
Morant. So
yeah
honestly, this year it's got to be Shea. Most improved players got to be Shea.
yeah I would
Uh,
give it to him too.
for sure. But yeah, so hell of a cast, young cast over there in Oklahoma. Great playing on both sides of the ball, very fast up and down the court. And then on the other end, you just basically got the opposite. You got two slow big men. You got a lot of inefficiencies. And yes, you could say good things about Anthony Edwards and Karl Anthony Towns. Like, I get, obviously they're not scrubs. But like I said, last game, Karl Anthony Towns played great, but he only did it by himself. No
Yeah.
one else stepped up. They didn't have Rudy Gobert. They don't have McDaniels anymore. I don't think Reed's back in time. So pretty much how I want to know, how much do you think Rudy Gobert coming back really helps them?
I mean rebounding wise, a lot rebounding wise. Like he's gonna get his 15 rebounds, close to it. I mean, especially with a team like OKC where they do play kind of a small ball lineup. Especially their first three. Their first three guys
Yeah,
are all under 6'8". They're actually like 6'5" and under because you got Giddy, Dort, and Shai Gildas. Is your
I'm
your
saying Giddy
three right
6'7".
Is he 6'7"? I thought he was like
Oh
six
yeah,
five.
that boy tall.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm gonna give it to him. My bad. I didn't mean to call you out like that, Josh. My bad. Go do your thing.
Oh, I'm tripping. He's 6'8". How about I say no? That's why he's a great point guard because he's so tall, and he pretty much like moves like that. Shay's 6'6", but it's the Dort. Like your
Well,
three is
they
six
all under
four.
6'8". That's what it was. They all under 6'8" for
Yeah,
their top three. They're under 6'8", and I mean, yeah, they are like they're not necessarily the biggest lineup, but I do
that's what
think
it is. Jalen Williams is also 6'6". So they
yeah
are. I know you're right. They're short.
they never play big lineups, but I mean that's what they were missing without Chet. Honestly, this year, like imagine if they had Chet with this lineup, Oof, they would be a problem. Honestly,
Oh no, he would have.
that'd be a
I mean,
problem.
granted, I do like that he took this year off because it does look like he honestly got some good weight on him. He's really
Yeah.
been bulking up, and I felt like he would have got injured anyways, truthfully, if he played an NBA season because he was scrawny.
Yeah, but he still needed some. He needed some reps. He needed some minutes. I
Yeah,
think minutes and reps always help, and that's the problem with with the team that OKC kind of beat and Zion Williamson, and New Orleans Pelicans. That's
it
his
came
problem.
out
He can't
flat.
get reps. He
Yeah.
can't get conditioning, no reps. But honestly, with Giddy stepping up this year so much, and obviously, like we said, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander just stepping it up. You got to give a lot of props to this team. On the other side, it's pretty much a mess over there. You got guys that are
Hmm.
injured, they're doing injuries to themselves. You got guys that were suspended, and Rudy Gobert. Now he is going to come back. I do think he's going to make a difference for his team, but he's not going to make a scoring difference. It's going to be more on the defensive side of the ball. And the issue is going to be if this team can stop giving teams runs. Like they had a 15-point lead in the first quarter against the Lakers. Minnesota did, and they just like started giving them runs in the second quarter and in the third quarter. They gave them like a 10-2 run, and then third quarter was a 13-1 run. So they gave them up. They gave up a lot of points right there. What they need to do is if they take a lead, keep that lead somehow. Make sure that you don't put your guys on the bench and you don't put your scorers on the bench. I mean, you're gonna have to find ways to score without Cat. That's gonna be a issue when I think that you're gonna have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Josh Giddey scoring a lot of 3-pointers in this game. And honestly, I think that this might be a blowout early.
Wait,
Minnesota
before you
might try to
say,
come back. Might try to come back in the second half, and then we're gonna have to see in the second half the adjustments they made. But I do think that it is gonna be a quite a blowout like early in the first quarter, and then Minnesota's gonna have to try to come back in the second quarter and to the third quarter, and then we'll see what happens in fourth. But I'm not gonna give you my prediction just yet.
I was about to say, do you think Anthony Edwards has two bad games?
Nah, I don't think so. And I called him out last game. I thought he should have had a good game last game. That's what I thought he was going to show out, but he needs a good game this one. He needs to improve his shooting. I mean, he even missed like some free throws that were crucial. They were crucial free throws. I think it was like in the third quarter when he missed like 3 free throws in the third quarter by himself. Yeah, so he definitely needs to step it up for sure. What about you though? You think that's the key for them? Is Anthony Edwards the key for Minnesota?
Honestly, it has to be. Cat will give you a little bit. He's gonna go off. Obviously, Gobert can't score, but if Anthony Edwards don't have a game, then there's no way they win. The Thunder had the fifth best offense in the league, score 117 points per game, and at the end of the day, they actually were top 12 in the league in rebounding, better than Minnesota. Minnesota was bottom
Good.
half, that 23rd. So like, yes, Gobert will come back and help. And it's so crazy because they have two bigs over there that are really good, but as a team, they don't rebound well. And especially when you're going to be outpaced by a team like the Thunder, who's going to run up and down that court, like they definitely going to have their problem. They're going to definitely have a problem and their work cut out for them.
That's what OKC does though. They run up and down the court a lot, and they play a lot faster than Minnesota. Minnesota definitely plays more of a half court offense, and OKC just runs through you. Like Lucas Dort will take the ball from one side of the court all the way to the other side, and same with Shai. They definitely are going to be able to get a lot more shots, off than Minnesota is. I want to see, if Kyle Anderson's going to step it up in this game as well. I
Huh.
want to see him shoot some threes. He needs
Kyle
to.
Anderson.
He
Stop
needs
it.
to. Why? Because he got pushed or punched.
My man Chesto hurting. Get out of here.
That's all right. He'll be able
Him,
to
him and
use his hands.
him and Rudy on the court at the same time. I promise you, they're not passing each other the ball.
I do want to see that more now. That's what I want to see now. I want to see both of them playing at the same time, and
They're not even
Rudy's
about
open.
to stand. They're not even about to stand in the same court together, on the same side of the court together, bro.
I literally want to see Rudy open in the down there, and then Kyle Anderson got the ball, and he just decides to shoot a three instead.
Contested, double teamed.
For real, but nah, I really do think that with Rudy coming back, that's gonna help them out, and they are gonna be able to come back in the second half a little bit. It's not gonna be a blowout like in the first half is. I do think that you're gonna have Cat and Anthony Edwards definitely distribute the ball well, but honestly, I do think that the scorers are gonna take over for OKC towards the end of the game. I mean, you're going to have Giddey not with the same amount of points that he had last game. I mean, 31 points, that's close to his career high, or probably was his career high. But, I mean, I think he is going to score close to 20, and you're going to have Lucas Dort score, close to that, maybe even like 17 to 20, and then obviously Shai's going to go off. So the scorers are going to be the problem for Minnesota. Minnesota doesn't play well against fast-paced teams like this. So, honestly, I got this game as a 9-point game. I got this 110 to 101. But OKC winning though. What you got though?
That's crazy. I got this 110 to 118. OKC winning.
Nice. Yeah.
So you said what was yours?
110
7-point
101.
game?
What is it?
A 10-point game or 9-point game.
9-point game. Yeah. I do think that Minnesota's going to have a shot in the third quarter, but they're going to be able to pull away. OKC is. They're definitely going to be able to pull away.
Oh, and I think they're going to, that duo of SGA and Giddey is about to have a great night.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we'll see if Giddey can step it up, man, because he needs to in these playoffs. Like, they need another second option, and this is going to be good for them for next year, obviously, and they have a lot of picks as well, so we'll definitely talk about them in the offseason, but they're set up for the future very, very well.
Oh yes.